Go.
Hello there, guys. Welcome to the University of Essex Anime and Manga podcast with Radio Rebel Studio. We were just having a laugh there because Sam was having problems finding the record button.
Yep.
It's not obvious. It's not.
This is Sam's first time back in the studio after a very long remit in the rehab we call the summer holidays.
Yeah, and we are very happy to have him.
Yay.
We finally have a technician who can kind of run the background.
Who
Does all
knows
your
what these
engineering.
things are?
Yeah, who knows what all the buttons do. So that's always good.
Yes.
Not
Well,
using
apart
any
from
of
record,
But
really.
apart from the big R button.
You know, the one that's really important, the record button that
And-
starts everything
and
off.
obvious, very, very obvious.
Yeah.
But,
Don't start. Don't start. But
let's have introductions.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Cameron?
Okay, I'll start then. This is Cameron, not one of the two Camerons. This is the president of the sports club, Cameron.
The original.
Still the president.
the
still
original
original.
Cameron.
Yes.
But not the
Phil
good
the
Cameron.
brand.
the OG Cameron.
The OG. Yes.
Just
Big
because you're wearing
Don.
a Yankees baseball cap does
Yes,
not make,
I
does not
am.
make you a gangster, my friend.
You go over there, Daniel. All right, so there you got me, Cameron. Yeah, the other Cameron will turn up later.
He's turning up in about an hour. But you'll see him. I'm Daniel, resident kind of tropes master, storyteller, bard kind of guy, and of course,
And
we
I'm
have
Sam. I'm the one of the exec for the Anime and Manga Society here at University of Essex.
Here to keep an eye on us.
I'm here to keep an eye on you guys. Make
So
sure
far,
you're
not doing.
make sure you're not running your mouths and
Make sure we're
you're
getting
all in line.
recorded.
Yeah, make sure we're turned on and recorded. Yep, all the good stuff. Yeah, I'm the fundraising officer, so I'm in charge of all the fundraising activities we are going to do.
So pay us on Pantheon.
Pantheon's not a thing, it's Patreon. We don't even have one yet. Oh my god.
Patreon coming soon.
Patreon requires that we do this regularly.
Yeah.
We're
On
doing it
certain
regularly.
days. Yeah, we
no,
do,
no, we
Oh,
don't.
okay.
We
No,
take
but-
breaks. We take breaks for school holidays, Cameron.
but not consistently. There is a bit of consistency with Patreon. We need to
yeah.
Okay, we need to find one that we get away with being less consistent.
maybe go fund
Yeah.
me. Maybe we can do one of those later.
Oh.
I'll look into it.
Yay.
Right. So what are we starting off with today then, gents?
All right, so going to be having a new segment from me. I've hinted at this over all of the weeks when I've tried to get my new segment in.
So it's a general news segment.
Yes.
But the anime news segment will be forthcoming. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I think then we'll be doing tropes. I've also got a review of Drifters, which is an ongoing anime this season that I've liked, and I'll be sharing my thoughts on that.
I'm bringing a couple of the new seasons, new seasonal anime I've been watching, some old stuff and some new stuff.
Sound very excited, Sam.
Yeah, you get to see. I haven't done a lot.
You
I've been-
could just feel the enthusiasm.
Just burning.
I've been working a lot. It's hard to watch anime when you've got coursework, schoolwork, and then normal work as
Work.
well.
Then you'll love my short animes. They're like 1 minute 30.
What was that one you recommended? The one based off that Flash game, like Ao Nui, the Blue Monster or something.
What the hell are you on?
You were talking about this new horror anime that was coming out. It's based off a Flash game of a blue monster and like 5 people trapped in a house. It's a short one. It starts the season. It's called Ao Nui, the Blue Monster. Spelled AOON. AOON.
Wait, there's one with the weird giant blue blobby thing.
Yes, it's a comedy.
Are
Yeah.
you sure he wasn't just winding you
Yeah,
up
yeah.
there, Sam?
No,
No, it's a general thing.
Okay.
it's a legit show. I've watched all 5 shorts of it so far.
Fair enough.
It's terrible.
It's kept Sam going.
It's terrible. It's not horror at all. I was like, okay, this is based off of a horror game. This is gonna be some good stuff. No, it's just comedy. It's just moe slice of life comedy with a horror monster.
But you see what
What?
that is? Sam kept watching.
Yeah.
He kept watching.
And speaking of
I
Moe,
can't stand moe.
and well, then you're going to love my new series that I'm going to be doing for next week. But we will be talking more about
Moe's from around the world.
Okay,
Pretty
so
much, yeah.
Oh.
We're going to be going into the tropes of Moe.
world news then. So.
Okay, so I'm focusing on the Asian Peninsula here. All right? Let's make that
Wait to make
clear.
it sound like a game of Civ 5.
What?
Or the Asian Peninsula.
The Asian Peninsula. Got a little diamond above everyone's head in this room right now.
Oh,
Andy
so,
shoots the nuke. She's
little-
got 2
little-
turns to respond.
God damn it, you're triggering me, Sam. Seriously.
Okay, so as usual, I've got all the dark news tales,
Yep.
plus one other one about Russians. But anyway, so in Japan right now, there's a Tokyo Kill on the loose. Just this morning.
Tokyo Ghoul.
That's what I thought the reference, right? Where we're laughing at a very terrible thing. It was a 20-year-old girl got stabbed to death outside her flat apartment. How do you feel now, Dan?
I feel like ghoul hunting. That's how I feel.
Oh my god.
Let's get some CCG action.
We
up
can't
in here.
incite a manhunt here. That's not what we're here to do.
Yeah,
We
we're
don't do that.
We're not
That's for the
Donald
police.
Trump. We can't be
Oh,
inciting hatred.
Similarly, that links into the other news that's in Japan's paper. I mean, they're all talking about Brexit and the American election. It's
Yep.
surprising they're covering outside stuff. But they're talking
Can you
about...
believe it's going to be over this time next week?
Yeah,
I
they
can't
can't be
wait.
surprised. Have you...
I'm excited. It's gonna be so good.
You know, on
Can't wait to
campus...
see everyone get triggered when Trump is in. It's gonna be good.
Yes, they're saying like on campus there's going to be a countdown in the Sub-Zero.
Are you going?
SU bar. I'm going.
Oh,
there.
it's gonna be good.
I'm going to
Okay,
bring
so
my
I'm-
Make America Great Again.
I may join you. You'll get slaughtered.
Ah, whatever, man. I'll sit there with my cap, get beaten to death, and then go, "Who's the racist now? You're hitting the black guy."
No,
Yeah,
but back
This
to
video is gonna
so,
get destroyed.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
you can just see the comments now.
They're like, "No Clinton supporters," but
I wouldn't call myself a
But
Clinton
anyway,
supporter.
the news Japan was coming out with is the latest kind of revelations that have been brought out. So the FBI has reopened its investigations into the Clinton Foundation. They're now looking for over 650,000 documents. They've already found that there were documents that were sent to them and said, "Oh, this is not special intelligence. This is not classified documents." And then they discovered they were. So they're like, "Okay, if you got that, what else you got?" And then it's like all things. And this apparently all stemmed from a book that was released called Clinton Cash Flow. And it's meant to be marking how money was coming out of the foundation over all the years they were running.
So kind of playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
Before we return to Japan,
Yes.
and we are going back to Japan. Don't worry.
Yeah, of course we are.
Land of the Rising Sun.
Make anime great again.
No, he wants to ban anime.
What do you mean he wants to ban anime?
Trump isn't a fan of anime. He
Yeah,
absolutely
but,
hates
you
it.
know, so is the
he
UN.
hates weebs. He hates anime. He's like very strongly against it. He wants it out of his country.
Oh.
He's gone on right
Why?
because he loves to say dumb crap that gets people aggravated and triggers people. It's what he does. It's how he drums up press.
Right, it's okay, guys.
Yeah.
Less American anime. You know what that means? Comic-Con in the UK. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying.
God, we do not need more people at MCM. It was
Yeah,
packed
yeah.
on the Saturday.
We need more space at MCM.
No.
We need the Excel Centre expanded. Good idea, Sam.
It's
Let's take
not-
in more factories.
If you want to start paying like £100 per ticket, go right ahead.
As long as that covers me for a very long day.
No, that covers you for the day.
No! I only turned up for an hour last time.
Basically, the
Right.
guy, I'm part of the MCM Expert group on Facebook, and there's one of the actual official
Sam's a big
partners.
man
No, I
in the
just
industry.
I met the bar manager for MCM.
See that? Heavy
He
lifter.
bought me drinks.
Yep.
What?
You see that? You see that?
I thought he was some random
He's
guy.
an insider, guys.
I felt
The
really-
corruption goes deep, guys.
I felt really
Clinton.
bad because I thought he was just some random drunk on the tube. Turns out- so we get to the MCM party.
Yeah.
We go in and he's like, "Oh, don't worry about your bands and stuff." He literally shows the guy his ID. He's like, he gets us into the party, no questions asked. He gets to the bar, he buys us all drinks, no questions asked. I'm like, what is going on? I met this
You
guy
lucked out, Sam.
I met this guy 5 minutes ago on the tube. What?
I think it's kind
Yeah.
of sad that Sam is networking better than I am, and I am.
Yeah, and
both to be
he was
doing
just taking the
illegal
tube, you know. This is what you got to learn from Daniel. Get on the tube. Don't be going to network
I
events.
live in London.
So get on the tube more often.
Yeah.
All I know is I owe the bar manager from MCM 3 shots. So
Did you get his name so you can
no, I
message
didn't.
him
I
on
forgot- I
LinkedIn?
wasn't able to give him my number, unfortunately. So.
Even if he had his name, privacy is a thing, Cameron.
Because like,
Is it? Oh, yeah.
what set me off was I met him on the tube, and it's like, "Oh yeah, give me your phone number so I can contact you later when you're in the event." I'm like, I
You're like,
Wait, so
Sheffield man.
just
let,
met
let,
you.
let me get this straight.
Yeah.
You met a guy on the tube. He got you into a party, bought you shots, and asked for your number.
no. I met-
Sounds pretty,
No. I met a guy on the tube. He asked for my number. He wouldn't tell me his name. He got me into the party. He bought me drinks.
So it's a bit more shifty than we thought, Daniel.
It's a lot more shifty than it sounds.
So one question: did you put out?
No.
Okay.
You didn't do any payback?
No,
Come on, man.
not a first
You
date
know the
kind of
deals.
gal, or
Let's just wait for Cameron to come back.
Yeah,
And before, if we want to talk about that.
Oh, was he there as well?
oh wow.
Me and Cameron shared a room. Let's just wait.
Ship it, guys. Ship it, guys.
Let's
Great.
just wait for Cameron to come back if we
Yeah.
want to talk about girls at the party.
Okay. Well, write that down. We'll get back to... I'm going to
Don't
make the
worry.
clicky pen sound.
Pencil note.
Get
Okay,
Cam
so-
and Sam, ship them.
Returning to from our
Yeah. Back-
really far
Back to
tangent.
the Japan and
Apparently,
Asia.
Japan has a killer on the loose.
Yeah, so they got the killer. He or she has killed a few people, and it seems
I love how
like...
you just jumped straight to she.
Yeah. This Tokyo Ghoul killer,
Yeah.
as we're labeling them, because otherwise they're just going to be called a killer, has been just killing a few people. We don't know who it is. So,
It's Jason.
It is Jason.
We really shouldn't make the connection between an anime and this.
Yeah, because then that's going to give more fire to the brimstone. and
that
they're
is
gonna just get
literally
it
the
banned.
last thing. Like, we don't need to make the parallels between serial
Okay.
killers and anime. That's just like, oh no.
Then I'm going to talk about
That is a slippery slope.
the next hot topic in Asia, which is it's called carafentanil. I'm
Never heard of it.
ruining it. Basically, it's a drug that's legal to be sold very easily out of China.
Is this like the it's like roots and like leaves, and
Yeah.
you make a water drink of it, and it's basically like LSD.
Yes.
It is.
Ooh.
It is.
This stuff, don't be over the...
No,
it's
no, no, no.
10,000 times stronger than heroin. Something as small as a, say, poppy seed can kill you. This stuff is used to tranquilize elephants. Now, in America, it's very controlled, its sale. But in
you can still
China,
buy it?
it's
Yeah.
completely uncontrolled. So you can, or largely uncontrolled, according to the Japanese newspaper. This is in Japan Times.
Well, I wouldn't
Well,
exactly
yeah,
call
the
with
Chinese drug
Japanese.
trade. I mean, come on.
I wouldn't exactly call with
what they're-
Japanese newspapers and
Okay, so
neutral
what they've been
sources.
referring to, there's been over 400 large seizures of this in America already because people in America are ordering it from Chinese companies, no questions asked, and it's just being shipped over and then they're putting it into the drug trade. And so it's been causing a lot of deaths, sort of thing.
Well, yeah, you start supplying people with a very overpowered drug. They've got no idea. They think, oh, it's just like X. I'll use X. Oh, no, wait, I'm dead. Whoops.
Yeah.
Uh,
So 400 overuse deaths
Yeah.
in the last couple of
Not
Overdoses,
fun.
years.
I think you mean to say.
That's the word I'm looking for, Daniel.
You're welcome.
Overuse. So I'm just going to skip on from that because that's like a big thing. The American government has already approached China to try and discuss minimizing it. Something like 12 companies that were selling it on wholesale sort of thing. 3 of them have rescinded their foreign trade sort of thing, but 9 other companies still continue to sell it overseas.
While I'm definitely kind of open-minded about drugs,
Yeah.
I'm a pro kind of legalization of marijuana kind of guy.
Yeah.
I think it's really sad that some people feel like they need elephant tranquilizer
Yeah.
just to kind of
Horse rank should be fine.
know,
No kidding. We don't
Just
endorse
to-
drugs.
just to-
That's
just to
bad.
live
I
their
believe
lives
that the
or-
way we think about drugs and the way we understand drug addiction is completely wrong.
Definitely.
There are a lot of studies out at the minute. There is a really good one I can't link at the minute, but I can send you the link to
All right.
when we're finished.
Yeah.
It's about how the whole thought process behind how drug addiction works is completely backwards. In fact, it is not like a good example is heroin.
Right.
When the US went into Vietnam, a lot of them were using heroin. A lot of the US Marines were using heroin because of the horrible stuff they saw,
Yeah.
especially with the use of napalm. So they would use
It's
heroin
like,
as a
what is it?
recreational drug.
Ecstasy was developed in World War II, wasn't it?
yeah.
Maybe. I'm not too sure about ecstasy. This is the
okay.
one I know. And then and everyone was worried about, oh no, we're gonna have all these junkies coming back from Vietnam after they've been in Vietnam using heroin. None of them. They
Right.
all effectively went cold turkey. It is possible. Like going cold turkey is a thing. It is because like
I don't know.
it depends on how
To-
you're.
to me-
It
to me-
depends on how you perceive taking the drug. If you're taking it as a coping method for PTSD, it is incredibly
Definitely.
easy to go cold turkey on it.
But I think that
But if you're
you're
doing it
kind of ignoring
recreationally as a
physical addiction there.
person, it
Yeah.
becomes more of a physically addicting
So you're
thing.
saying the issue is that a lot of people are taking it recreationally
Yes.
rather than probably what it was
the use
originally
of it
intended
is
for.
not good, and I am anti-drug on everything.
Yeah.
I am not a fan of anything.
Let's ban caffeine. End of coffee right here.
That would kill me. Any of the illegal ones, I'm not a fan of, just because you're breaking the law. You shouldn't be.
Yeah.
There are other things. There are other ways. You don't need to put something in your body to feel alive.
Well,
Apart
you
from
you can definitely kind of send me that link because that sounds
Yeah,
really interesting.
I will.
Yeah.
And obviously you've got me on Facebook.
There is a if you've heard of the channel Kurzgesagt, they do really interesting animation videos about sciencey things. They covered it in a lot more detail and a lot more.
What we'll do is we'll include a link to them in the description.
So far
Like
we've
a
had
website.
Eloquently is
so
Serial
far we've
killers,
had serial killers, elephant tranquilizer,
American elections.
a deeply in-depth discussion
Yeah.
on whether drug addiction is bad or
Yeah.
not,
It is.
and whether
And,
we understand it or not.
I've
which we
got
don't.
2 more news stories.
Yep.
Right, okay.
So the next
We can
one,
already guess one of them.
the next one is their next door neighbor, South Korea. So don't know how many people. Usually the crazy stories are coming out of North Korea, but today we lucked out and we got South
We're
Korea.
switching it up over there.
Yes, so this is meant to be. This was an ongoing problem, and it's led to investigations. Essentially,
It's led to protests.
Yeah.
People are not happy.
well, let's
How would
put
you
the
feel if your
arguments out.
country is run by 7 shamans who drink random concoctions of
Okay,
drugs
let's
to see things?
let's
and control the
clarify
country?
what this
the
is before
Tory
we jump
party
too far.
aren't that bad. bad, Sam.
Damn it, Daniel. Okay, let's clarify what the story is, and then we'll start throwing in craziness.
That's fair.
So what it is the president of South Korea, God knows how I'll say her name, so I'll just say the president of South Korea. She has admitted that she was getting, small amounts of advice, that someone was rewriting her scripts.
Yeah.
No, I just say basically this is what she's admitted to. She's admitted to someone rewriting her speeches that she's been giving to the public, and has been providing a small amount of advice on her public advisory committee stuff.
From
and
a
this
legal
person,
perspective, it's called being a shadow director.
yes,
Where
And
in a
didn't
company,
this person also embezzle over 1.2 million pounds?
Yep.
Yes.
In Korean money.
This person is the daughter of a cult in Japan.
entire
South Korea.
cult?
An entire cult. And
I think
religious
it could be the
That
daughter
entire
of the
cult.
leader of the cult.
That entire
Sorry,
cult
the
and
daughter
not
of the
produced one,
leader
yeah.
of the
And not
religious
the
cult.
entire cult who had a massive orgy and birth.
Just
of
like
that
we see in
person.
Berserk. But
That's a low blow.
yes,
okay?
it is. Take it, bro. Anyway, so that's what she's admitted to, but it's led to wide scale kind of accusations that, you know, the corruption runs deeper.
It does.
Maybe
It
this
really
person, they're saying, has she been helping them select like advisors and putting people in certain positions? And she's been in this position for over a couple of years, and now some of the advisors that she were put in these places were found to be embezzling like 70 million in some cases. So it's all kinds of stuff going on. You're going to throw in stuff, Daniel.
So now,
Yeah, so,
I just
Oh,
got
hello.
one point to
Yep, sure.
Yes, yes.
Go on.
So this is like some top level conspiracy.
Oh, this ain't even a conspiracy
Mumbo
anymore.
jumbo. Exactly.
That's proof.
Yeah.
So, what if other countries are doing the same?
You
What
mean
if-
like America?
or the UK? What if? What
Oh,
if,
come on, we already know UK's the problem. We said the Bullington Boys way back when. We know we're a conspiracy theory.
I can guarantee, Sam, that the Church of England
Yeah.
are not controlling this country.
Exactly. It's
Like,
the
I-
Queen
like-
controlling the Church of England.
Yeah, like I'm an atheist.
Yeah.
There's a reason I feel safe. In
But
this
anyway, we've got
country.
other things like, was it France is a little bit of a side conspiracy? You got the stuff going on
with
in
the rise of kind of like
Spain.
Marine Le Pen in France and things
Yeah.
like that. The kind of rise of far right nationalism
Hmm.
and right wing rhetoric. It's actually pretty scary. to
Yeah,
be
we've
honest.
got all sorts going
Yeah.
on. You know?
Like
It's
I
like
can
the-
definitely understand having. There are things the right definitely has points. on.
Yeah.
But when you're talking blatant racism and xenophobia, I get one.
You know,
I do.
the
I-
irony
I
is the
don't-
Guardian was talking about this the other day. They said that there's only like one left-wing party in Europe that's making any sort of stand, and that's in Spain. And they're saying they've got a long road to go. And then they're going on about how there's a massive... that some people have been saying, oh, this is a movement to the left. And then they're saying, no, right-wing has been rising all across Europe. And this has come from The Guardian.
Just look at
And
Labour
even The
today.
Guardian was writing about almost a pro-Trump article. They're saying, why is Trump doing so well? Why is Clinton doing terribly? And they actually write, because Clinton's basically a liar. I'm summarising here, so don't be jumped to conclusion. But basically, The Guardian writer was saying, everything Clinton has said sounds great, but then you think about who's the person who's currently in charge? Obama, a better figure, more charismatic, more votes, said the same stuff, didn't achieve it.
I didn't get
That-
a chance to read that
Yeah.
article, but I did notice that was a point being made that she is a smaller Obama, effectively,
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
less charisma. I personally, when it comes to politics, I've never understood the whole right and left thing.
Yeah, because
I
it's
just
not
don't
maybe
really
about it.
understand it. I don't think we need to go into it in detail
Yeah,
now.
so let's skip
I definitely
on.
prefer liberal and conservative.
Let's keep
myself.
back to South Korea, Daniel.
Yeah.
So you were saying
So-
shadow cabinet and all this.
Shadow director.
Yes.
It's a basic idea in company law
Right.
in general. And since this is a business leader that we're talking about,
Yeah.
who is a shadow director of the bloody president, it's basically where the director is.
Die slowly, damn. Die slowly.
Yeah. Sam's taking a little,
The sickness is real.
a little plague break.
Oh.
So please ignore the sounds of death and dying. We're not killing him.
Taking too
slowly.
much carafenilli, though.
Right. Okay, maybe someone can help me. There's this anime show. I can't remember what it is. Well, it was a manga. I don't know if
There's
it
a lot
actually-
related to drugs, by the way.
No. There's a manga. I can't remember what it is, but it's basically this Victorian setting, and
Right.
the main character is a detective. And the first couple of volumes are him trying.
Oh, okay.
They're trying to find this killer. The killer doesn't leave any eyes in their victims, and basically what happens is
Sounds like Dexter.
spoiler for the first couple of volumes of the manga. I can't
Didn't
remember
see
what
that
it's called.
coming, did they?
No, the killer is a the killer is a medicine man, and
Oh.
he's selling these because all of his victims are women, very beautiful women. He's selling these women a drug. They
Right.
take the drug, it makes them really thin. It's actually full of parasites which eat all their body fat, which is why they get thin, and then they all build up in the eyes and their eyes explode. That is the first episode. That is the first like volume of the manga. I want to know what it is so I can finish it.
So in the comments below, can we help out Sam, please?
Anyone, please.
Can we help everyone out here?
I really want to know because it was so good and it was so
That
well
does
written.
sound really good.
And it was really it was a very good mystery. You
Where did
never quite
where did
know.
you get to in the story?
I read this in high school. When I was like 14.
Right.
I got to like the third.
It all makes sense
The
now.
third volume. No, we had. Right, I'll never understand this, but my high school librarian, she would, if you said, "Hey, can we get X book in?" she would buy it in. So
Right.
someone in their right mind bought
Ask for porn.
the first 12. No, the first big chunk of Battle Royale. That was a manga we had on display in our high school.
What's Battle Royale? Someone.
Basically inspired the Hunger Games.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you go watch the film Battle Royale, don't read if you watch the film,
Yeah.
then read the manga. The manga's a lot more violent and it's a lot more
Explicit
plot.
in
Oh, plot.
There is a lot more plot.
So we actually are
Yeah.
kind of running out
So
of
you
time.
go ahead and talk, finish on
so
South
quickly
Korea there.
shadow directors, and then we'll
Yeah.
move into, I don't know.
And then like my
or
last
something.
story, which
Oh,
is
yeah, of
generally
course.
about Japan.
Shadow directors are basically advisors to directors. Obviously, they
Yeah.
work from the backgrounds. The director has to be
In the limelight.
the director has to be unhealthily reliant on their advice to the extent where they cannot act without
Against
that
them.
shadow director.
Yeah.
And I think that's definitely something that's going on here. In general, Southeast Asia has a massive problem with businesses and corruption and monopolization. If you look at Japanese keiretsu cartels, for instance, that's a massive issue there between the links between government and business. And that's something that's not really talked about in the Western world.
It's like
Mostly
the
because
exact
they don't
opposite
care.
of communism, isn't it? Instead of the people owning the means of production, it's the
Businesses.
corporations
Yeah.
owning the
Yeah.
means
It's
of
it's a massive kind of plutocratic system.
production.
Well, I
And-
suppose we never really talk about it because we probably have an extent to it going on. You know, it's just
Yeah.
like
Definitely.
what is it? Our ministers, most of them are rich businessmen these days, or businesswomen.
all go into rich business when they retire.
Yeah,
It's
you
the
know.
revolving door syndrome.
Mm.
But yeah, shadow directors, they're a thing. Be afraid.
Be very afraid.
So
Don't worry, your rebel studio is here
Yeah.
Or if you can
to
afford
fight
one,
the
get one.
rebellion. What?
Yeah.
Or if you can afford one, get one. They're great help.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or become one. That's my ambition. I'm not gonna lie.
Just sit there and give advice to someone.
Do you know?
And collect money.
I put out a video the other day.
I mean, yes, I'm legally liable
Yeah.
if they mess up, but I'll hire a competent director.
Hey, Daniel, I'll tell you a weird thing. I put out. Do you know Trump in a way sounds like a bit of a shadow director himself?
Oh, he definitely is.
Yeah,
Can
like,
we move on from the Trump?
Okay,
Oh,
I'll just say
yeah.
I put a video out
Have
back
a-
in the
you
day,
have a
so you
point.
can look at that. It shows him. He was
We don't need to
basically he's been on the
alienate everyone
trail
else 'cause we keep
for the last
talking about
30
Trump.
years. Okay, so the final story, because there's a lot of stuff going on in Japan. I didn't want to read about this stuff. Like I'll give you two ones. One's like a small thing. Basically, the first Russian-made cafe has been opened in Japan in Akihabara. It operates differently. I
Hold
see
up.
about to jump in here.
A Russian made, so
Yes.
it's like a normal made cafe, but
Right.
it's Russian.
Not-
So
no.
So it's specifically
Very-
Russian.
yes.
Oh, so it's like a Gaijin made cafe then. I'm guessing.
What's a gaijin?
Male.
Foreign.
Well, it's generally male, blonde hair, blue eyes. It can be female
Yeah,
as well.
but
It's what they.
Right.
It's like their stereotypical foreign anime.
But this
blonde hair,
isn't.
blue
This
eyes.
isn't just stereotypical.
Also
literally.
cool as all
What?
hell.
Are they like Japanese though? Usually in Gaiden ones.
No,
Are they actual foreigners?
they're meant to be foreigners, but they can. The term is mainly for foreigners, but it
Right.
can be used for non-foreign people who have blonde hair, blue
It
eyes, and
depends.
are
It depends.
very
It depends
tall.
on the context.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
samurai days, it was all about isolation.
Yeah.
I can tell you in Japanese wrestling, gaijin heels are kind of disruptive, dismissive of Japanese culture, that kind of
Got
thing.
you.
Yeah. So the Bullet
Well,
Club, for instance.
That'll factor into the next story. But in any case, just to summarize, the Russian-made cafe. It was a Russian cosplayer, and she was cosplaying, and then she showed off her wares, and then a Japanese model guy went over to Moscow, ran into her, found her, took her back to Japan. She wanted to stay in Japan, so he was like, okay, we need to get you a working visa. It's the only way you can stay, because you know Japanese
Policies.
immigration laws. And so that led to her starting her own cafe with a couple of other Russian models.
And Simon from Durarara.
And Simon from Gerrard. Black Simon. But in any case, what they were selling is they wanted it to be a Russian-style maid cafe. So you have all these Russian maids dressed in military garb, because she was a military garb
Because when you think
cosplayer.
Russian women, you think military, right?
Yes, you
Yes,
do.
you do.
Think of Black Lagoon.
God damn it.
Bang. Anyway.
That's a great anime, Sam, you know it.
So,
It's a
feel
great
it, Sam,
anime.
feel it. But anyway, so she has all kind of ladies
Oh,
dressed
I
like
believe it.
this. Yes. But she said the things that set them aside is they'll give out their food to the customers. They'll smile at them. They'll be kind. They'll take pictures and they'll sing and all this in Japanese maybe. But what they won't do is say, "Oh, master." You know, they won't say that like what you
Do
get.
they
in there.
say that in Japanese? Maid
Yes, they
cafes?
do. Japanese maid cafes will
Yeah,
call
it's
it's the
total
Japanese
cringe
word,
level.
but they call them like masters, and they do cast
Ojo-sama.
spells on the food. The Russian ones don't do that.
Okay,
And,
so I prefer the Russian Japanese maid cafe.
And they were saying at the Russian maid cafe, what they do is it's all Russian food as well. So it's not Japanese food,
Do
stuff
they
like
do
borscht and all that.
sir and ma'am, like if they were in the like, because if they're all in military garb, would they
Yeah.
refer to them as the military higher up, like yes sir or
No.
yes ma'am? Well, that kind of defeats a bit of the point.
They're just like dressed like military people,
yeah.
and it's just like
I think the Americans call it stealing valor.
I suppose it's better than the tsundere maid cafes.
Yeah.
I've heard bad stories about those. I never want to go to one of those. It's basically
they hurl abuse at you, don't they?
You're paying for the worst service imaginable. You're
Yeah.
paying for your food to be late, for it to be cold, for it to be spilled.
Well, I
all
mean, you
over the
don't miss
table.
out on that. At the Russian maid cafe, everything is served cold because that's apparently the Russian way.
The Russian cuisine normally is quite cold,
Yeah,
to be fair.
because they had like a Japanese guy eating borscht, and famously he
You're not
took
going to get
one-
a
Which
fried
isn't
egg,
really
though,
Russian,
that is
but
cold.
You can try.
Yeah.
But they got like a guy eating soup and he ate one spoonful. It's like, this is cold. And then kept eating. But then like, the Japanese people were just, apparently it was very different to a normal so a normal maid's cafe, it's all talking and laughing and all this. Apparently this one was a bit more sullen and quiet and, a bit more respectful. And the girls were like, we didn't want it to be like this. Why are people not talking? They're like going, oh,
But it's
Russian
new.
ladies.
It's different. It's,
Yeah.
whenever there's anything new, it's kind of we got to kind of test the waters. Where are we good? Where
It's
are we not
like-
good?
They did crowdfunding to set this up as well.
Cool.
And the target is 200,000. And what they got is 3.2 million.
Like I said,
So,
GoFundMe better than
bang.
Patreon.
So then, that was like a side story. But the main story is about the changing employment laws in Japan. So, as you may have already heard, Japan has a declining kind of birth rate, like
Yeah.
just about everywhere in Asia right now, apart from China. And
Well, yeah, you'll never.
Not just Asia, to be fair. Russia's having population issues.
are they?
Yeah, they are.
Australia may be on the way to it.
Really?
Soon. Yeah, Australia. There was a recent news report. Australia and New Zealand are at the same point where Japan and other Asian countries were about 5 years ago. So people are predicting within the next 5 to 10 years, Australia and New Zealand will be the next declining populations.
Imagine that, living
Which
in a
is very
place where everything can kill you may not be good for your health.
No, it's
You
not
heard it
like
here
that.
first, guys.
It's actually, if you look at Australia is a really good example
Yeah.
of this. A lot everyone says the cliche Americans are obese and all that other
Yeah.
comments. Australia are quite close behind them. They're
For real?
quite they're
I will say
The
this:
quality
we
of
are
li-
catching up to that.
The quality of life in Australia is very well. It's to the point where some other stuff as well contributes to this, but a lot of the population are obese. It's and it's an interesting fact to see that a lot of their population are obese, and you don't normally equate that to Asian countries and other countries, but they're also now becoming a declining birth rate.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting parallel.
So seemingly it's affecting basically Asia in general and like that side of the world, really.
So Austro-Asian countries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so back to the story about the employment. So we'll stick with Japan in this example. They said that by 2040, their population will decrease by 19 million. So substantial there, right?
Is that all due to declining
Wasn't there?
birth rates?
I
or is it
think
also
I
due
think
to-
I know the article you're talking about. Wasn't there
Yes.
somewhere else that it was and it will return to the amount of the population that they had when they were during the samurai period? That was
Well,
the estimate. If
maybe.
if they don't start, if their birth rate doesn't start to increase, by that
Yeah.
time it will be around the same number of people.
Well, I mean, do you remember the reason why they had such a high birth rate in the first place? Is just after World War II, the government actually said to people, it is your duty as a Japanese citizen to have as many children as you can, and we will give you money for every child you have. Anyway, that's why they got
So the government
families
was
had 5 or 6
the
children.
government was incentivizing
Yeah.
having large.
China was
families.
doing a similar thing.
Yeah.
China,
and then they capped
don't-
it.
They capped it. The one child policy has been slightly reworked.
Yeah, now you can have
recently.
2.
Now you can have 2. In certain locations, they're not as strict on it because, let's say you're
Well, I mean-
a farming family,
Definitely.
you
Yeah.
have 3
You
children.
need the children.
You need the extra farm
the
hands.
workers.
They're a bit more lenient.
Now,
Whereas
someone
if you're
from an
living,
Well, I mean,
African
there's like
farming
another-
family kind of
yeah.
children are very essential.
They are the workforce. But there was like another side thing anyway with China that it was interesting, the adoption agencies, there was quite a lot of them being created because of one-child policy. But that's kind of going off the topic here. Sticking with Japan. So what the discussion has been about is something called guest workers. So we've all heard about the idea of, you come into a country and you're an immigrant worker, you're a migrant worker. Well, immigration is not exactly a word that's very well liked in Japan because they're afraid that with migrants, they come over, they destabilize culture, blah, blah, blah.
They don't want the disdain of the words. So they've come up with a new word call it.
Not just that. It's a different thing altogether. So guest worker is a different sort of policy. So if you have an immigrant worker or a migrant worker, they've seen what's happened in Europe, they've seen Brexit, they've seen how America's getting affected. Side story, there's been like over 100,000 people going across the border in recent weeks because of what's been said rhetoric there. But anyway, back to Japan. What we've seen is this new policy of a guest worker is someone you give a working visa for 5 years and they go home. So they would come over, they work, and the idea is that they would fill the slots that have been dropped because Japan is one of the few countries in the world with an incredibly low unemployment rate. And you actually hear managers saying 83% of managers are struggling to find people to fill job roles. And they lack skilled workers, they lack unskilled workers. And so what they've been doing is this new answer is we won't destabilize the country because even people are upset about foreign tourists. They're saying they're seeing more of them. They're like, oh, this isn't Japanese. So what they said is we'll have a guest worker. They come over here, they work 5 years, they fill that kind of slot requirement thing, just like what Germany does with Turkish migrant workers, except Germany does a 2-year visa. And then you send them back and you have someone else come in and replace the slot. And it won't solve Japan's declining rates.
What you'll probably find is with that policy, there will be ways to renew your visa while you're
there.
Because they'll want... The thing with... like getting in, let's say a country needs 100 doctors.
Yeah.
They get in 100 doctors from different countries. When those doctors finish, they're still going to need 100 doctors.
Exactly.
So what they'll probably say to them is, hey, you've been here for 5 years. You've been doing a good job. Would you like to stay on? Or they'll
as someone
years.
Whose mother kind of came in on a student visa with a very similar kind of policy to that, there were definitely ways around it.
Plus, I mean, if you look at it this way, Japan has a very high requirement to even become a citizen. Do you know how long you have to stay in Japan before you can apply to be a citizen?
Isn't it more than a decade?
Uh-huh.
Something like that?
10 years at the moment. And you think, like, in comparison, what, the UK's 5 years, some countries don't even have that. I don't know what America
you
is.
can get married and you get a green card pretty quickly.
Boom! Let's go look for some ladies in Texas.
Let's not.
Fine.
I'd rather stay in the UK.
I'm black and atheist. I'd be shocked.
You'll be fine. There's actually a large amount of black people and Hispanics in Texas. They've got some of the largest of all the states. It's quite diverse.
Not the most racist out of all the southern states.
I'd probably say that's Mississippi, to be honest. Or Alabama.
One
of the two.
But anyway, we're sticking with Japan right now. So what it was is figures have shown that basically in 2013 or 2014, they had 428,000 workers come in on this system through the back door, because there's no proper way to get into Japan through formal arrangements. There's no system set up. You have to get in through the back door. The other way that we've done is there's essentially, they said in 2015, they saw 908,000 workers come in on this in 1 year. So essentially what we're talking about here is this new wave of immigrant workers that we will call guest workers, and is growing and growing and growing. Cameron has just arrived.
And we're actually...
What? Right up into this.
Yeah, gotta get right up close.
Oh, yeah.
So kind of wrap it up.
Okay, so anyway, those were my main sort of stories.
So after the break, which
it's a very lengthy news section. We'll go for a bit of a break.
We will be going into actual anime-related content.
Cool.
Imagine you've all been waiting for.
I've got a review of Drifters coming up, and then I think we can do the anime news segment, and if we have time, my tropes.
Yeah, and like what we've all been watching recently, and what we've been trying to keep up with.
Sorry guys, I kept the news going way too long.
It was interesting, and it's kind of relevant.
Turn up at the same segment for 50 minutes.
All right then, we'll catch you after the break.
Yeah.
See you after the break.
And with that,
can I say that sounded like the most pathetic attempt at the Ghostbusters theme ever? I'm not gonna lie, that was worse than Fallout Boy's rendition, and that's some way to go.
Right, welcome back to the Anime Manga Podcast. We've now got Cameron with us today.
Hey ho, I've returned from my lectures.
Yep.
I've just sat down and
sporting a Sword Art Online shirt.
I don't know whether to be proud or ashamed.
I'm both. I've just been in a lecture being told how governments and companies have my identity and then want to use it against me. So I'm really ready for this podcast.
Facebook selling all your
Add to
likes
your
for
phone.
money.
You just missed my big anti-business rant. So
Yeah.
You should have been in my lecture. I will do a listen again sometime, and you'll just see what I was in for. It was amazing.
We were talking about how the South Korean government has been
Run by
a shadow
religious
shaman company.
nuts.
That feels really bad because I love that country. I have been there like 3 or 4
you've been to
times.
South Korea.
I absolutely adore
You
that
see
country.
how religion
I have so many friends in
inspires
that.
a great nation.
I have so many friends in that country. Absolutely
will
love
throw
its
you out of
food,
the
love its
window.
culture, and I'm like,
100%.
oh my lord.
Anyway, moving on to what we've been watching. Let's start with Cameron. Other Cameron.
Right.
New one. What have you been watching recently?
So, in terms of watching recently, I'm still in catch-up mode, and it wasn't helped by the fact that last week, earlier this week, I was really, really sick. So
God bless
I came
Cameron,
back
God
from
bless.
MCM, and I instantly caught con flu. I'm still dealing.
Has it
with
got
it now.
anything to do with the drinking you were doing with that random stranger?
No, it was not. So,
I love how you just know what we're talking about
Yeah.
straight away.
So-
Or that Lana cosplayer you were dancing
not
with
long.
last night.
Hey!
So what I did on Tuesday when I was at the lowest point, I was like, oh god, was I sat down and I watched this show, and honest to God, I was in such a fever dream.
Was
I
it an
can't
LSD
remember.
trip?
No, but it was awful. It was basically, the premise is, someone will remember it. The premise is essentially there's this dude and he gets voted as, he's in a race for school council president. And the girl beats him basically on the process that she will liberate people love and let people just do what they want. And it's like,
I thought we said we weren't going to be talking about the election this year.
Hey. And I was like, okay, that's fine. It seems all right. It's like, that seems against what every other anime in Japan does, which is like have the main character like shy away from anything to do with anything romantic. But then it's only short. Like every episode, like 8 minutes. I thought, I blast through this entire season, fine. And then it turns out I didn't read the description properly, and what I was in for was 12 episodes of essentially softcore pornography.
Yeah, I remember this anime.
And he basically,
seen
the
that.
school council
course you
president,
do.
the school council president turns out
Yeah.
that day, moves in with her, and then says basically Nisei Koi style that we made a promise that I would marry you one day.
Oh my god.
Oh! If he lost the election.
And basically, no, not that, just cause. And then basically there's like, this show breaks the nipple rule. And there's nipplage everywhere. I'm not lying. I was sat. And
What was the age rating?
I don't know. I didn't pay attention because I saw just a GIF on Anime Reddit. It was just hilarious because it was just a hilarious GIF. So it didn't have all the ecchi stuff in it. So I was like, that looks funny. I watched that, and then I watched after episode 12. I was like, just end my life. I was in a fever dream. As I was
Speaking
like,
of anime Reddit, I just found out that Berserk has a subreddit,
yeah,
and it's amazing.
Yeah.
They have really cool, in-depth character analysis.
Yeah.
I see Nina in a completely different way. So if you're a fan
Yeah.
of Berserk, and
So-
you should
Can I
be.
quickly set a challenge for next week? Because I know we were challenged to watch series.
See, I watch this one I never watch, and it's really helped me now because now I want
Yeah.
to do a thing.
Save the challenge till the end.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to quickly get the challenge
I'll
in.
do the I'm gonna
Watch a movie from this season.
Okay, I will.
Such as the new Gantz movie.
Got zero.
Oh god.
I'll get onto that
Gans.
later. But basically, for me, watching this ecchi anime, and it's now done something I want to talk about next week. I won't do it now, but it's basically I have this idea that for me personally, ecchi is never going to get a fair review because for 2 reasons. Because I'm a man, and essentially, part of me feels like I'm always going to like it because I'm heterosexual, and it's basically just boobs everywhere. So like,
Yeah.
this is the best. This show, by the way, had like a 7 on my anime list.
Yeah,
so I'm like,
it's really
it's
hard to-
amazing because it's boobs everywhere, and it's like sex. It's amazing. And then in my head, it's like, but everything about it is like the worst written piece of garbage I've ever
See,
encountered in my
I
life.
feel kind of that way about High School of the Dead, but in reverse, because I actually really like the story of High School of the Dead.
So well written just happens to have a lot of
Tittage in it.
service.
Yeah,
I-
exactly.
I'm gonna-
and sometimes it gets ridiculous. You cannot shoot a gun across a woman's chest.
Do you know? Apparently,
Yes,
they
you can in Wanted.
Apparently, they
Remember
had
bullet
to.
bending?
Apparently, they had to be moving at like 500 meters per second. Those boobs to have dodged the bullet. They actually did mathematics. They had to move
those
like 500
boobs
meters.
move like
Someone
Neo from the
investigated.
Matrix.
Which nerd did the maths on that?
The anime subreddit.
Oh my god.
So like, I want to talk about it at some point about how ecchi will never, in my opinion, get a fair review. But I
In
won't
that
do it
case,
now.
hit me up after before, and I'll do like an ecchi.
We'll
Well,
do
you
it.
got to discuss your 500 breaths per second, you know.
That's the movie that Shitakai didn't want to release. Instead of 500 centimeters per second, it's the porn version of 500 centimeters per second. 5 breasts per second.
Okay, so we are
besides
kind of
your
on a,
little
yeah.
ecchi anime, anything else have you been watching this week?
I've been trying. I blasted through a lot of the problem is when I'm sick, I just don't want to watch anything new because I feel like I got it reinvested. So I ended up watching Kill la Kill again because I love that show so much. But I won't talk about Kill la Kill. I did start getting through Rakugan again, which is what my abbreviated show is called, which is the 48-minute long show about the criminal who comes out of jail and then goes to a master to learn about the ancient Japanese comedic art where essentially just one dude multi-rolling sat down the whole time. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called Rakugan. And because it's got a second season coming out, and it's also one of the best shows this year from like what I can glean from the first 6 episodes. And I started watching that, but the problem is, again, I said this last time, it's long form. It's really hard to watch in short spans of time because essentially I was like watching Game of Thrones, and it's like I can't deal with this.
You said it like it's a bad thing.
Game of Thrones is bad.
I agree.
Don't worry, I'm putting it on in LTB6.
Boy!
We'll have a discussion about this afterwards.
You will watch your tone, or I will feed you to one of Daenerys' dragons.
But for me, it's been a terrible ecchi anime, an anime that I...
Game of Thrones is not an ecchi.
No, I'm talking about what I've been watching this week. Can I say, no, it's not...
That needs to be a show.
Can I say,
get on it,
Game of Thrones isn't ecchi, it's full-on hentai right there. It's full-on hentai right there. So, no, I've been watching a terrible ecchi anime, which I thought was going to be alright, and it made me reevaluate how I view ecchi anime.
Is it Keijo?
No, it's not Keijo.
Okay.
And no, this is what I'm talking about, the School Council President one. It's called like something Sekakaijo, because Setakaijo is like the word for student council or something like that. And then it was an anime I already established how much I love. I don't care what people think, because that show is amazing, which is Kill la Kill. And then this other show, which is very high up in my award list for best show of 2015/16. So now I want to open the floor, because I feel like I've been talking too long.
So, Sam.
Well, we've got around the... Okay, I'll go, yep.
Go.
Yeah!
Because I didn't want to go Cameron event of a Cameron.
Right,
That's
okay.
just confusing.
So,
Confuse everyone.
Yeah.
I've been trying to catch up with Gundam
Iron-Blooded Orphans.
It's so good.
Because
I love
season
Iron-Blooded
2's out
Orphans.
You have to
Yeah.
realize, Sam, that I hate mecha in all shape, form. I hate it.
You have no soul. Those children, they give their lives for you.
This essentially...
Good.
Wait, are we talking about the Gundam where they're on Mars?
Yes,
they
they're
were
on Mars. It's
Yeah.
basically child soldiers on Mars, and oh god, it's brilliant.
A great way to
there
get
was
around
so much
it.
good stuff.
A great way to get around if you don't like mecha is essentially this is about not the robots, it's about the people in the robots and the horrors of war they have to
Okay,
do.
I will
Yeah.
give it a shot.
It's
Why
like
are you hiding from it, Daniel? This is
because
like Code Geass.
that-
You watched Code Geass, didn't you?
Yes, but I didn't.
Yes,
like
you did, so go watch another
but I
one,
didn't
eh?
like Code
If you
Geass.
don't want to, if the best way to look at Iron-Blooded Orphans is this: it's not about the robots. The robots are a piece of equipment. It is about the children who have been brought up in a paramilitary group who are now
Sound like Ender's Game.
It's really good. Basically, what happens in the first season, if you want a bit of a recap, is a bit of a spoiler here. They take the paramilitary group have a raid and they capture one of the mecha units, the Gundam units, and
Triggered.
the main military group and the main antagonists, they go, "No, we want it back," and attack the children's group. They attack the base, and during this, they all the children get screwed over.
Oh,
so they
God,
revolt
yeah.
and they take over and become the new company. And now they're doing the main plot where they have to transport the princess across to Earth to do an
There's like
intergalactic trade
a
agreement.
sub rebellion going on, and the rebellion's being used as a government coup to get more money.
I plan to dedicate this
He's
weekend
put it
to
on the
anime
list.
and Dark
He's put it on the
Souls.
list.
It's on the list.
It's on the list of Dan.
It's on the list of Dan.
Along with about
Drink it
100,000
in,
other
man.
animes.
So
Okay.
Wait,
so,
say Megan
It
It
is one of the better Gundam seasons. It's like
It's-
one of the better Gundam series I've seen.
it's like the
recently.
third best for me behind like Unicorn and Little Pocket War.
Okay. I will give it a shot. If I hate it, I will blame you.
That's cool. Yeah, you can blame me for
I'll
everything.
just put it down to the fact you don't like mecha.
I got the Society to watch Panty and Stocking. I don't care.
That was you?
That was me.
Oh my god.
Um,
Well, actually, the first time we watched it was the vice president.
Didn't
who
they
was a
say they
dark
didn't
girl.
want it at all? Like
Yeah,
she said it was disgusting.
What happened was, it was near to Christmas time,
Yep.
2 years ago, and there was this girl who came down, and she was similar shade to you, Daniel. And
What?
Well, I don't know her name. That's the thing.
I'm
I
out.
think
So
she
you,
was.
so you just identify her by her race?
Well, how
No,
else are you
what,
gonna do it?
no wonder you are a Trump supporter.
Anyway, so she was.
Oh, yeah,
I think
yeah.
she's the
Oh,
vice.
I went all the way there.
I think she was the
No
vice
wonder they have
president.
trouble
Basically,
identifying
she
us.
came down on that occasion,
Yeah.
put on panty stockings, watched it. Told me he was in the room. I was in the room. Then told me just slammed it so hard she walked out.
I
halfway
remember
through.
this.
It's
yeah.
the greatest
time.
greatest comedy that has been produced in ages.
Okay, so other Cameron, if you're done, Sam.
Only of the things I've been watching recently are Ruby, which people will argue.
Yes!
I
Came out
still need
Saturday.
to watch Volume 3.
You need to catch up, son.
Daniel, you haven't watched Volume. Okay, I can't talk about Volume 4.
No, we can't talk about Volume 4.
Volume 4's out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It
Wait,
came out, man, on Saturday.
Dan, when I'm on this, yeah.
Me and Sam met Sam met the entire cast. I met three of
the
them.
entire cast of Ruby. I have a photo with Lindsay Jones. God, I love her.
We're
Daniel.
endorsed by Ruby now.
Dan,
Daniel.
I have a signature of the director of Psychopaths.
Watch.
I met
I don't care. I don't like
Daniel.
psychopaths.
What? Okay, if you take anything away from this, watch Volume 3 all the way through to the end. Do it in one sitting.
Yeah, I'm doing
Signed
it.
artwork.
You will cry at the end.
I know.
If you-
I will go and
If
buy
you
snacks
don't cry
and
at
go
the
and
end,
watch
you
Ruby.
you have no
That's
soul.
disappointing.
I will let Ruby in. I'll let Ruby in. I love that show.
Well,
I
Ruby is an
don't know
anime.
why people hate it. It's amazing.
Have you heard like people still trying to say it's not an anime?
They can.
According to the rules of the anime subreddit, it does not qualify. But
Reddit don't
those
count for
guys.
crap. Reddit ain't gonna be considered in this.
Doesn't matter.
Look at
doesn't
you.
matter. Doesn't matter.
Anti-Reddit bias. All right. So what have you been watching this week?
Okay, so apart from watching Ruby, which is a designated anime, otherwise, why is it on Crunchyroll? Why is it on Kiss Anime? Why is it on anime sites? If it ain't an anime, put it on Kiss Cartoon.
It has a manga.
Boom!
Ow!
Has a manga.
Stop
Daniel.
shouting!
spike the audio.
I'm not
it
arguing
also
that
follows
it's an anime.
it also follows the terrible model of making chibi versions of shows, which are always lesser than the originals.
This is
Yeah.
true.
Thank you, Attack on Titan and Ruby for ruining
But the
that.
way they fix a problem with the show.
Oh, there's
is
one
brilliant.
there's one good moment in that chibi anime. The rest of it is kind of like all flat. It's like what they did with Teen Titans Go, in that they kind of like lambasted what was so great about the original, trying to just morphed it down to like base comedy, and it's just
Dan. When you
funny.
finish Ruby Volume 3, I'll send you the episode. They fix the problem at the
Yeah,
end of Volume 3.
this is the one
in
funny
a
moment.
very
Okay.
good way.
Right.
I will message you and you can do that. Because
So
we are
you
kind of
wanted-
running out of time.
Yeah, so you wanted me to quickly, so I watched shorts.
Yes,
you know,
you did.
I mentioned them briefly last week. Or I mentioned them fully, effectively, because they're shorts. But I watched To Be Hero,
oh god,
right, which is an anime which I explained before was essentially a guy he's 38, he's got a daughter.
This is the one where he gets thrust into the toilet. Isn't
Yes.
Oh,
So
yeah,
he
you
previously
told me about this,
he
yeah.
had like a wife. She left him because he was a womanizer. He was chatting up girls in his favorite bar, you know, highlighting that he knows the size of their waist because he can obviously he's a toilet
wizard.
designer or something. He designs toilet seats for a living, so he knows all women's sizes.
What a
based on
crappy
that
job.
knowledge. Oh! See, straight back in.
Way
the room.
to spike the audio there. And
Yes.
my heart rate. Thank you for that.
Hit it so hard.
Seriously.
So anyway, they had that going. His daughter beats him up. He goes back
Wait,
to the
why
house.
does his daughter beat him up?
She flies in and kicks him in the face and says, "This is why Mum left you."
Oh, okay, fair enough.
And he's like outside, and she beats up all the sluts. They're going, "Oh, you're sluts. Why are you going after him?" And they still like him because they're like, "I always wanted to meet a real hero," and he's meant to be like a toilet hero, presumably from this. So he goes home. She goes to take a shower. He busts in, goes and takes a dump, throws her out. She starts smashing down the door trying to get in. He gets sucked into the toilet, runs into a very macho-looking Mr. Mario, who he even refers to as Mario, and they bleep it out because obviously Super Mario.
Yep, copyright is a thing.
And Mario turns him into a superhero. He gets released from the toilet as a fat sod. And then looks in the mirror and goes, "What the hell? My daughter won't recognise it." Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, long story short, his next door neighbour is also a sex offender who runs around flashing people, and throughout the anime constantly goes, "No, don't leave me, daddy! No, don't leave me, wife!" and all stuff like that. And then like there's a scene where the dad sees his daughter being chatted up by a boy, and he sees like a Boy Scout sign crossing the road. And he's like, "Oh, that boy's probably going to hit on my daughter." So he goes to his little sex offender friend and goes, "Run over there and flash him." And he flashes him outside a police station.
What?
Help.
Yeah.
I leave
That-
for 5 seconds. What?
That's what I'm
This
saying.
is what Cameron's been watching.
That's in
this
one
week.
episode. That's To Be Hero. And he got his heart ripped out of his chest in the third episode.
Man, that's at least faster
And
than
then,
Kill la Kill
so
did it.
that's what they're like, you know, we've won already. And then in the fourth episode, they appear again. And the guy's like, he's like, "What the hell?" The heart's vanished from the main villain's hand. And it seems, and he just keeps sticking his hand through the fat guy. And it just does nothing.
So he's just Kali-maring him from Indiana
Yeah.
Jones.
Yeah,
to rip
yeah.
his
They're
heart
just
out.
like,
It's not
how can you
working.
be immortal?
The thuggy
So-
cult is in this.
That was To Be Hero. You should watch it. It's a hilarious 11 minutes long.
All right.
The other one I was watching is like University Cheat, or at least I'm calling that. I mentioned that again last week as well. Is essentially an anime about the idea that there's two ways to be successful in society. University in general, you need to get a good education if you want to get a good life, and so you don't end up at the bottom. You want to be at the top. So that's just like Japanese society in general. You know the stories. You get into an Ivy League, you'll be suited to get into the Ivy League rate companies, live a happy long life.
Duh.
Well, Japan takes the mick out of this by saying there's two ways to get there. One is you actually do well and you're smart in your brain box.
Is the other one cheating?
Boom! In very elaborate ways. And because of that, they have to come up with very elaborate ways to stop you from cheating.
Is this like when you write on your arms with like
Yes.
there's a thing you can do where you write on the inside of a bottle, like on the inside of a bottle thing.
Yeah, the label. And then what you do is you stick it inside and then you look through it and you reveal it slightly. I remember we all did the cheating, but I mean, no one cheated back in the day.
Yeah. There's
But-
been no cheating exams. here.
Never. I failed on my
Yes.
exam, so even if I did,
It was a fail. But then, like, the references they make in this is it's more sophisticated. So they talk about how rich parents often force their children to cheat because they want them to go to best universities.
yeah.
They do laser surgery on their eyes so that they install these kind of, what do you call them? What's those things you put in your eyes? Contact
lenses?
Contact. Yes.
Are we talking like Deus Ex Human Revolution style lenses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
that
the
has,
one-
like,
not
all
like the-
information flows.
Not the douche glasses.
that's actually a thing, though.
Yeah, I know it's a
You can
thing.
get these in real life. They're lenses, like contact lenses, with the answers burnt in. So you literally put them in. It's not viewable from the
Yeah.
outside, but on
Yeah.
the inside, you can see all the damn answers.
These are like
Man,
that,
I could use that
but
in
they
some
said
maths tests.
But these ones are meant to be for language, so you put them in and you know all the languages in the world, so you can get through a language thing. There's ones where you
I
can
need that
put,
in life in general.
you put something into your arm like a sheet of metal, and you can reveal the letters, and it'll show you all the maths answers. And then they'll like this other one where this guy has like this whip thing, and he could send it out and grab stuff and all that. And they have like a pen, you unseal it, and there's
if
like
you do the
answers
metal,
inside and all-
if you do the metal thing and you forget to take it out, you ain't getting it through
Yeah,
any
you just-
airport ever.
yeah.
Can I just say one thing?
yeah.
The amount of effort that you have to put in
Yeah,
to
to
set
cheat.
this all up. Could you not just
Buddy,
study?
yeah.
Well, that's what you
Yeah, but
think.
Sam,
And then
you see, it's the principle of the
yeah,
thing.
that's why they say it's like basically if you can cheat this well, you're smart already, aren't you?
You
'Cause
might
you
as
have to
well
go through a lot
just
of effort.
cheat.
But to put it in comparison, right? So in one of the episodes, there's like this master ninja guy who's the exam person who's like the examiner.
Invigilator.
Yeah, and what he does is he freezes everyone with stun poison so they can't cheat. He's like, it gets the last 15 minutes, he freezes everyone so no one can read off anyone else's work. And then one of the main characters basically has like a knife or something in his pocket and he stabs himself to create pain so he could move again. And then he effectively cheats. And you see all these people doing these sort of stuff to get around it. In another episode, you've got the main guy in charge is like an examiner who's half mammoth, and they're in the middle of the Antarctic, and it's freezing cold, and the idea is they're all being frozen to death, so they either focus or they fail because they can't throw stuff around because it freezes. And then, in another exam, they're being flown, and they're on a plane, and the ceiling disappears, and if you're caught cheating, eject, and you're flown out of the thing.
Jesus Christ.
So-
I don't know if it just sounds like child
This
abuse
is
to me.
made by the same people who did To Be Hero.
This is basically Assassination Classroom with
Yeah.
cheating.
They even reference Assassination Classroom
Of course they do.
in To Be Hero. Someone appears that looks just like Assassinating Classroom 1, and they even reference it and like beat the crap out of him.
Okay.
And then
So,
the final one is a different short, and it's called
you're
Americano.
watching a lot of shorts.
Yeah, I am, because you know you can get through
They're
a
like
lot of them in the time
Pringles.
of one. Yeah, just like so you got Americano
That man's many
coffee.
Pringles for people to watch.
Cocoa, Americano cocoa. Do you remember I referenced this a long time ago in one of our early podcasts?
Yeah, okay,
When it
yeah,
first
yeah.
came out. It's on season 3 now.
Vaguely.
Yeah, they're in Hawaii.
keep
Episodes
coughing.
take about 2 minutes. I was just watching their first episode this morning, and it started with a guy going, "Oh, I'm happy to get this new job as manager," and then he gets thrown out of the plane, and he has to like parachute into Hawaii.
Landing strategies. Go.
Yes.
Okay. So kind of wrapping it up with me, I suppose. I've got my review of Drifters, which is what I've been watching this week. So,
Is it good?
is it good? I enjoyed it, yes. I've got pros and cons, basically.
Nice.
So,
The dub was just announced on Funimation.com.
It was.
and I'm probably going to be watching it again, probably, because I do that. So, people didn't like the animation for some reason. Personally, I enjoyed it. I can definitely feel the
Well, it's
Kota-
Hellsing.
Yeah, I
animation,
can feel the Kota Havana influence, especially with the eyes. Yeah. He draws eyes in a very kind of distinctive way that I really like. Though The first episode throws quite a lot at you. And
What's
that's-
kind of like the premise for like the story and like a synopsis
Yeah.
of it?
Okay. So it starts off with a feudalistic battle in a particular historical period of Japan, and the main character Tomohisa.
It's 30 years after Nobunaga died.
Yep. And for those of you who are into a kind of feudal Japan, like
So
Cameron,
that's just after the unification of it.
I
Yes,
have no
yes.
idea.
So
Literally no idea.
The main character does reference Nobunaga, and he knows about
Nobunaga's in
unification.
this. So
Yeah, I know, yeah.
he is flung into a world. This sounds like Samurai Jack already. Damn.
You're not going
He's
to
flung
mention
into
the
the past.
journalist guy, the person at the desk.
That's
Quite
literally
important.
what I'm just about to do, Cameron.
Sorry, Daniel.
So if you let me finish, Kanye, he's flung into an alternative dimension where he meets a journalistic guy at a desk, and is flung into a new world where it appears that the premise is historical warriors and kind of other famous people are battling for two different factions, the Drifters and the Ends. And these factions are representatives of these kind of cosmic entities. The journalistic guy is one of them. The other one is some guy, some woman who seems
Girl.
to be, I don't know, some sort of... She's definitely like the villainess. And she seems
So it's like
to...
Dynasty Warriors.
Kind of, yeah,
It's like
well-
Dynasty Warriors meets Samurai Warriors meets there's a third one.
Yeah.
All slammed together.
You know,
It's,
it's
war-
not- it's
it's
not-
Warriors Orochi.
I think we're-
I wouldn't call it like the most original premise.
No, I mean, you're simplifying it a bit. It's this.
Like,
It's,
yeah,
so it's
because we do
Yeah,
have,
we
we
have
do
to
have a time
simplify it
limit.
as fast as
well, it's like
Yeah.
it's the idea if you got good versus evil. If you want to really simplify
See,
it, but
we really don't know that yet.
okay, you got light versus dark.
Ambiguity.
I
though.
mean,
we do because
no, what
they
we have,
talk about it later. They
what
say
we
it's-
have is ambiguous versus ambiguous.
It's to do with humanity and it's life versus death. It's does humanity survive
Yes,
this or do they get
that's-
wiped
and
out?
that's something I really enjoyed as well. So, the basic premise seems to be the bad guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my
The
head.
Dead King.
The Dead King, whatever his name
Steve.
is Steve. The Dead King, Steve. First of his name,
Have you
King
heard
of the
there's,
Andals, Warrior, and first.
Yeah.
name.
People.
Yes.
Do you know how the ends work though? They're all meant to be heroes in their time, but then they were good people who got turned evil, as opposed to the.
If you could just let me finish the review
sorry,
and
Daniel.
then kind of interject with your thoughts,
Okay,
that'd be
okay.
really nice. Yes. So so that's something I really liked is the humans versus demi-humans thing, because the Dead King Steve, King of the Andals, Warrior, and first man, is gathering an army of kind of oppressed dwarves, elves, other kind of generic monsters. And their aim is to wipe out humanity, which, according to him, does not deserve to exist. It's definitely the kind of Lord of the Rings, Nazgul kind of thing.
He doesn't gather dwarves and elves.
He aims to. That's literally the aim of the fourth episode.
pay them
He's
back.
going to talk to them.
to pay them back for all the racism that they suffered
Yeah.
in Dragon Age.
That's literally on my review.
Is it
It's
really?
very Dragon Age. Yeah, it is.
I am
very,
going to watch the show
it
now.
is
I
very
may
Dragon
buy
Age.
the Funimation. I need to speak to Funimation to get my account fixed. I may buy the subscription just to watch this.
Yeah.
This sounds great.
I really like the diversity because the elves have their own language. They're very kind of diverse
that's
people. It's very Dragon Age.
Did
2.
you notice the hobbits are there as well?
Yeah,
This sounds so much like Dragon Age.
yeah. It's very Dragon Age 2, where they really made the elves a distinctive.
You
race.
have an old god coming back to life, raising an army to wipe out humanity.
You make a good point.
This is Dragon Age, the anime.
Technically, though, the Dead King isn't an old god.
Prometheus.
No.
He's one of the the enders.
Well, we don't.
Well, you do.
We really don't know that.
You do if you read ahead, Daniel.
Well, I haven't read ahead, Cameron. So maybe stop spoiling the anime, Cameron.
Spoilers.
Okay. We have very memorable characters. I can definitely see links between Toyohisa and Alucard from Hellsing.
Okay.
They even look kind of similar. If Toyohisa had longer hair, he would basically be Alucard.
So is
in terms
Alucard
of looks and
Nobunaga?
personality. In terms of personality, Nobunaga is definitely more like Alucard. He's very loud, very brash. In my opinion, he stole the show with his personality.
I'm watching the show. This sounds amazing.
Yep.
I can see you just crying.
It's
in the
also
corner
it's
for how
also
good
cool
it
that the
sounded.
Drifters aren't united in that Toyohisa and his faction are doing something completely different from the other Drifters.
Yeah, like some of the other drifters are
Hannibal, Scipio
Oh
Africanus.
damn!
Yeah.
I didn't
They
know
both
Hannibal
arrive
had a
together.
last name, by the way. Hannibal
Yeah.
Barker.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
He's too busy crossing the Alps.
Indeed.
Well, they reference that because some of the other people start taking the mick out of Hannibal.
Yep.
And then, what is it? The Roman emperor? Or what's his
Scipio.
name?
Scipio Africanus.
basically goes and has a go at these people going, this man is the only one who brought fear to Rome. You
Bullshit.
dare call him like
BS.
that kind of thing.
Calling BS on that, by the way.
Can I make a comparison to another show that is based
Please do.
on this? Nobugun. This sounds so with the
Yeah.
whole premise of like bringing back ancient people. Like you have the girl who basically has a gun on her arm. She's Nobunaga because he had a gun, and you had Jack the Ripper who has like knives and
Yeah.
stuff.
And
That show was trash. Don't watch it.
Hell.
That's actually
Why would you
That's
do
actually
that?
my first con. It's
Right.
not the most original thing I've ever seen.
God, no.
While it's definitely good,
Yeah.
it's not
What?
world changing. Like
I mean,
Hellsing
you got
was.
to follow it further along.
Sorry.
on
Yeah,
stuff
to be
that-
fair,
stuff it
this,
reveals.
it's only been 4 episodes, but Hellsing, in comparison, has a massive change right from the beginning because Dracula is working for the Hellsing organization.
Yeah.
That's a massive change.
I feel like
People who are
Whereas,
trying to kill him, he's not working for them.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel
So-
like being original isn't like not being the most
definitely.
original.
Not a huge
It's
thing,
not
no,
like
no,
a thing that made me go, oh, I'm never watching this again. Because like
Yeah.
I like really.
I am enjoying it.
I
Don't
love
get me wrong.
most shonen anime are the same. Like Twin Star X is about the same thing, but like, if it's executed very well, I can't like this is
Tropes are tropes for a reason.
Yes,
I think the interesting. Have you minute? Are you at the end of your review?
I've almost ended my review. I found the humor hit and a miss.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's really good. Nobunaga is a really funny character. Sometimes it's really annoying and it's jarring and immersion breaking.
yeah.
And that's a problem I really didn't find with Hellsing. The humor fit in.
Does he get a Blackwing though? That is the question.
Does he get a what?
A black. I can't remember the plane. It's
There is actually a plane.
It's
One of the drifters is a
One of the drifters
Japanese
is on- yeah.
kamikaze war pilot.
Yeah, and he
It's not
flies
the
and
plane I'm
shoots down
thinking of.
dragons.
A Mitsubishi Zero,
It's the stealth plane that goes into the atmosphere. It's like
Yeah.
Blackbird,
that's the
the
one I'm thinking
the Blackbird SL-71 Blackbird
of. Yes.
So things that I want to happen,
from Lockheed.
and this is my last kind of thing, things I want to happen. I want more character development for the drifters outside of Toyoisa's group. I want to know more about them, especially the war pilots, because I know literally nothing about him. Whereas with Scipio and Hannibal,
Yeah.
I have like historical context I can fall
Is
back
there
on.
a character called Yukihiro Sanada?
Off the top of my head, I don't
From
think so.
what?
Probably in this show.
Was
Probably
she-
wearing red armor. It's a man.
Yes, I think.
I think so. Toyohisa
good,
wears red armor.
Good.
I definitely want an explanation on magic and rules. I
Yeah.
feel like, for example, Anastasia Romanova, you know, the last Tsarist empire.
The day.
The daughter
part
of
of the,
Tsar
the
Nicholas
ends.
II.
Who
She's
was never
there.
confirmed
Okay.
to be alive
Yeah,
or dead.
she's there. For some reason, she can do ice magic.
Okay.
I don't know.
I-
why.
I
from
can
Russia.
clarify your
yeah.
answers
So I
with
feel like
spoiler effects.
that's something that needs
Save it
to
to
be
the end,
explained.
no spoilers.
Because
Yeah.
why is someone who can't fight wielding magic, but Toyohisa, who's a warrior, why does he only have a sword? That doesn't really make sense.
She's a warrior. She's a mage. Different classes.
Okay.
Going back to the Dragon Age.
All right.
And finally, let me just pull up the review because I do have something there. And yeah, finally, I want more interaction between the ends. I want to see how they get along,
So
how
more
they
party
kind of
banter
interact.
kind of thing.
Yeah, are they a united front? Because we already have schisms within the drifters. Is there something happening at the end?
There's one that isn't united with them.
Yeah, there was, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but there was a end who was basically like, I'm in it to see who's more interesting.
Yeah, you know,
And I may join up with the drifters.
is it
if they are more
Himiko or
interesting.
something? The girl that rolls with Nobunaga in Sama or whatever.
Yep, that's actually a guy.
Okay, but I'm gonna say a girl. But
Fooled-
the young
fooled me
19-year-old
again, by the
guy,
way.
right? They're his master, or like, you remember that one talks about how they win a war, like
Yep.
a big war, like the GOP war, basically 1,000 years before.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, he talks about having a leader of their army that led them. You remember the guy who's sitting on the fence with the end?
Is that
That's
him?
the leader.
Okay, cool, good to know.
Nice.
So I'm guessing they'll be interacting at some point then.
Yeah.
So that's the end of my review. I'd probably give it a 3.5, maybe a 4 out of 5. It's definitely not mind blowing, but it's definitely good.
So
I'm enjoying it.
we're getting a. It's all right.
It's
Well,
all,
it's like what
yeah,
I'd
it's
say.
all right.
I'd say the
So far, by episode
yeah.
4, it's all right.
Yeah.
Like the anime is still easing into it. There's a lot more to come. So
I'm guessing I'll be returning back to it when it
Yeah.
ends.
I can.
Yes.
The manga I think hasn't ended properly because the or light novel, whichever one it is.
I think
light
it's a
novel.
manga.
Yeah. So you've got the end, the lead of the end.
Please
There's-
don't do spoilers because
It's
I,
not a
I
spoiler
really
because
do want to
no
watch
one
this.
knows who he is, so they're making conjecture. But keep this in mind: everyone who is the end is considered someone who was a hero before, but because of what happened to them, they became someone who hated humanity.
Yeah. So Joan of
So-
Arc, for instance,
Yeah, she was
at the
burnt
stake.
to the stake, and she has fire magic now. Anastasia, presumably, we're saying she may have, if she ran away from the Torai Palace, she may have frozen to death and that would explain
Like
her ice magic.
like Rasputin's in this,
Yeah.
and if he had ice magic, that makes sense because he died in a frozen river.
Yeah.
His magic.
Isn't Rasputin more of a poison master?
No, I think they make Rasputin super strong.
His ability is to be rolled up in a rug. That's he controls rugs.
Rasputin just doesn't die.
He's got a third leg.
And he also really likes cake.
So, Daniel, you said you wanted to know why is it at the end they have magic and the drifters do not.
Yes,
right?
but I'd much rather the anime tells me and not you.
Okay.
No spoilers.
Yeah.
Where's the fun in
Mostly
that?
because it's not a really good review of Unspoiled, now is it?
Can I point one thing out that you missed out from the end?
Sure.
If you were looking very closely, the dead king, as I'm referring to him, his hands and his feet have signs that he was impaled on a cross. Crucifixion, and he's one of the oldest.
Please don't make.
He also,
this I
he
missed.
also is one of the greatest haters of humanity, and he says this is a reference back to the book, which was skipped over.
If this is
aspect.
Jesus, I swear to
No one
everlasting
has
God.
said it is Jesus.
This is.
But he has a staff that gives him almost ultimate power.
This just jumped to a 4.
He has the
Can I-
ability
can I
to
just
heal those who are injured and dying, as
He
you
does?
notice.
Wait, is Jesus on the what we perceive as the good team or the bad
No,
team?
no,
bad
the ends
team.
are the bad guys.
He's on the
Can
bad
I just
team.
say-
He wants to
He's the
end
leader of the
Can I
bad
just say,
guys.
it kind of goes against everything Christianity teaches if Jesus is a bad guy because he hates humanity. Because he doesn't really
I
hate
need to
humanity.
watch this show
Well, they're saying
now.
because he was.
The last time we had a Jesus metaphor, we got the Matrix trilogy,
Yeah.
and
But
that was a poor
But
experience
anyway,
to say the least.
it's meant to be explained away with his magic. Everyone's magic. It refers back to why the end does have magic. But I'm not gonna
I
pronounce
guess
it, yeah.
we'll see.
So
But,
I'm saying it could be, but think there's a lot of people who've been crucified. We can't be like, oh, it's got to be Jesus. It just has to be someone
Basically,
who
he
cared
could have
a
been
lot
killed
about
by the
humanity.
Romans.
Yeah.
He could have been killed he could be Brian from Life of Brian.
I'd
for all
love
we
it if
know.
I'd
You
love
could
it
be
if
a
it was
thief,
one.
It could be.
Yeah.
I'd love it if it was
could
one
be
of the
Joe down the
thieves
street.
who was crucified next to Jesus.
Yeah, because remember they say like we're
That'd be cool.
making a lot of references. I think it's
What
set
happened
up.
to Judas?
Yeah. Ooh.
I actually watched an African
No, he
movie
lived
where
with
he
me.
came back as an undead zombie mage.
Maybe it was
Wait.
Judas.
But anyway, that's the point. Like everyone gains magic after they.
It's called the 40th. It's called
after
the
they
30th
die.
Apostle. It's cool.
Yeah. Did you notice there's also one of the guy who invented the Philosopher's Stone is on the side of the Enders?
Which one's that?
Oh, okay. I won't mention him then.
What, Nicholas
Find out
Flamel?
your
Not
name.
Nicholas Ramel.
No, it's older than that. The guy who, according to the original text, supposedly found immortality through a philosopher. But anyway, he's mentioned in it.
I guess we'll see. So, is it worth watching? Definitely.
Oh,
But
yes,
Is it
there's-
gonna,
I'll give it a shot.
but is it going to blow
I'll
your
tell you.
mind? I don't think
Guess. This is a slight spoiler. Remember
then-
the
then no.
Empire?
No,
No,
just-
no, 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 no,
just-
no, no, no,
just
no, no.
Come on.
Anyway, can
man.
I quickly ask, who are the Octoberists?
The Octoberists, I believe, refers to the October Revolution in
Yeah.
Russian history.
Yeah.
It
Oi,
may
go.
do. But isn't it the? Oh, is that this? It might be. Yeah.
Are you thinking it's the ones from England or Europe,
Maybe.
like the German Octoberists?
Yeah.
But there isn't. It's on the October. Isn't there two revolutions in Germany, and it's the Spartacist uprising and the Octoberists? Or is that not right? I don't know.
I can't remember. off the top of my
Anyways,
head.
I'm a history
There's been a lot
So,
of Octoberists.
kind of wrapping it up, Drifters worth watching, but I don't think it's gonna be blowing my mind anytime soon. I could definitely
Yeah.
be wrong though.
Yeah.
So,
The
Break
story's
camera
bloody
2016.
amazing.
I'm sorry. This conflict is destroying me.
yeah. So, well, that's unfortunate because it's time for the news.
Woo! All right. So
Unless anyone has anything to add. That aren't spoilers.
Ruby is an
sorry,
anime.
bro.
Go.
Well, I think
in breaking news, Ruby is now considered an
I think
anime.
we all agree here that
I
Ruby is an
agree.
anime. And
In the
if you
Dubite
don't-
nest.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is pretty much like I'm pretty much pretty much referred to in this society as probably like the den of evil or something like
Yeah.
that, which is like they open the
Yeah.
door and all
We're-
those senses.
Not yet.
That's how
The
For those of
Shadow
you who don't know
Cabinet.
what we're talking about, our anime society hates dub.
Do you know we
All dub.
could literally call ourselves the Shadow Inquisition here because we never turn the lights on.
Let's not.
No, let's not. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, in
whatever.
terms of news stuff, it's actually been a slow news time-ish
Week.
in terms of like
Anime.
substantial news. I'm not talking about like PVs being announced because Super Lovers 2 got a PV and I couldn't give less of anything. So in terms of what happened, so one thing I found this really hilarious a reason, but a Japanese man was charged for violating the copyright for uploading a version of Your Name online to the new movie, which apparently was a really high quality file with both Chinese and Chinese and English subs. And he broke the copyright law because of it. And
Damn.
this is a movie that is currently the 7th highest grossing movie in Japan.
Didn't the Death Note remake, like the live action remake, outbeat it in its first day?
I have no idea. I literally don't know.
Okay.
It might have done. Also, Fate Grand Order got a TV anime special. I tried to research it, and I went to the bit that said story, and it said coming soon, so even they don't know what it's going to be about yet, even though they have a website. And the Nerigate Winter 2017 Anime Chart version 1 got released. Okay, there's Rakugan Season 2, which I'm like, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's just a lot of stuff that I'm like... So obviously this
So it's not going to be a very.
I don't know
interesting
because
season
this is
season.
obviously me looking at them, and they have to kind of, if they need to like make me feel like, ooh, I want to watch this. I was like, I gotta give me a buzz, but I
Cater to everyone's taste. Like Cameron's not finding something. You may find something. Like,
Yeah.
oh yes, this is gonna be top show. This
there was
season.
some other stuff I found interesting, but Rock and Jump Never, and then there was a lot of other stuff. I was just like, oh, okay, oh god, please stop, and then it was so on and so forth. Apart from that. I did bring up the anime news thing to continue somehow because they can never let anything die in this industry. The Bleach manga is getting 2 novels.
Yeah!
Because they can't let it die.
Told you, Daniel, still going strong.
Done by Makoto Matsubara and, oh my god, Ryogyo Narita. And the first one is penned for December.
You have got to be kidding
I'm
me.
not kidding, there's 2 novels coming out.
Why?
I'm sorry.
What are they on?
Because they lost
What's
Tight
that?
Cobra.
What does it matter? It's going to be.
Terrible.
Don't
I
worry,
can't
we don't
swear.
need Ty
Okay.
Cobra anymore. Now it's
Okay.
back in the green.
Okay, so I'm just keep looking apart. I'm looking at more apart from this, and apart from anything, like Seiren's got its visual release and who's doing
nice.
it. I got the thing about somewhat the guy being charged.
You gotta mention Cowboy Bebop is now on Netflix.
Oh, it's Cowboy
It
Bebop.
is?
It is
Cow-
for everyone who owns a Netflix subscription.
I don't have a
Netflix is also on
Netflix
Netflix.
subscription.
Also, another great Netflix show, Kuromakuro, Netflix original, top 10, great mecha anime.
Do we
Makes
count it
no
as
sense.
Is it another one of those things where we say it's an anime because it is an anime, and some people would say it's not an anime because it comes from Netflix?
No, it's a Japanese anime. It
Okay.
comes
It's
from
probably
Japan.
they've probably just got the distribution rights in the West.
Netflix
Yep.
have expanded their anime distribution rights into Japan. They're buying more Japanese studios to produce anime specifically for them, such as Knights of Sidonia.
This is random,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think it's pretty cool anyway. Zero Escape 99 is getting a collector's box where they have all the games in it for PC.
Do you know
release.
009 Recyborg has got
Yeah.
3 movies coming out?
Oh my god.
One of which is on Netflix.
See that? Another
you're just
classic
shilling
quality
Netflix now?
anime.
We haven't got
Buyer's
any.
remorse.
Yeah.
By the way, we are not sponsored anyway by Netflix, but if they'd love to send us money, I'd be really pleased.
Yep.
Money, equipment, clothing,
There
people.
was okay. I'm sorry, I just stumbled upon juicy news in the sense that this is actually like both distressing and whatnot. So, talent agency I'm Enterprise announced on Wednesday have learned that many of the voice actors and actresses that it represents have been harassed regarding untrue topics.
Oh,
What's an
wow.
untrue
and unauthorized
topic?
photograph.
I'm guessing this is something to do with the voice actors.
And they're
right?
consulting the police in the matter.
Oh wow.
It's over the internet and social media regarding untrue topics.
Someone type in untrue. Let's find out what these untrue topics
the
are.
agency noted that it may have also seen unauthorized photographs. So this
Well,
is basically
Wait,
harassment.
is this some sort of sex scandal?
No,
What
I
is
think it's
this?
just harassment of.
We'll probably be reporting back same time next week with more information. So tune
Yeah,
in.
probably.
Yeah.
I'm not okay. I'm having a quick. That would be interesting. If in your own time there was a Crunchyroll map of the most popular full simulcasts for the US and Canada, so that might be funny to see who's watching the ecchi anime in the US.
Hey, wait, does it do it by states?
Yes, it does do it by
I can imagine
Oh,
Utah's
I
record.
did-
So which states are watching Keijo and which
Woo!
ones aren't?
I did remember one thing. Little Witch Academia is coming out in the winter block, and I'm like, Trigger, please save me from this.
See, it's like I'm also happy to see Arslan Senki.
Oh, yes,
Arslan
Arslan
finally comes back.
Arslan Senki 2's
Yeah.
a thing. I know that for a fact.
Yes, I have been waiting.
There are more things about the live action Ghost in a Shell.
Right,
coming
yeah,
out,
that I did hear
which
about.
everyone is like holding their breath and hoping it's not terrible after what they did to Kite. You know,
Sam is just
I've
showing
actually
me
never
breasts
seen
on
Ghost
my
in the
side
Shell.
here.
you've never
What?
seen okay.
Ever.
Oh,
I
we should
would-
watch
I've
it.
never been here when we've watched it at Night Society. I've heard really good things about
It's a
it.
classic.
Both my brothers have seen it, but I've never seen it.
If you can find anything else, I'm going through. I would have been more prepared, but unfortunately, like I said, I've been dying intermittently over the course of the week.
That's fine.
Guys, we've got some interesting little story here. I thought I might throw in no Sword Art Online. They're releasing a movie soon.
You're wearing a Sword Art shirt. You can't really be complaining.
I bought it a Hot Topic in America at the height of its popularity. I was just a slave to trends. Though, I don't know, Cardcaptor Sakura has got an announcement coming out soon. Just the guys.
Is it back?
I bloody hope it's back.
Cameron, seriously.
I bloody hope it's back.
Sam.
I really hope it's back.
I think can we like lower his mic? Just his mic?
I'm sharing his
He's
microphone.
sharing the mic.
What
That's
you
fair
need,
enough.
Dave, you need to lower me. Although I'm pretty
You
pretty
don't
low
have
at the moment. Eh?
you don't have volume settings.
Cardcaptor
If you
Sakura.
did, I would be muting you constantly.
All they said is that there's a huge triple huge announcement on super big news in December.
Nice.
So what that could mean in this universe is that what we want is them to announce maybe a reboot, like maybe Sailor Moon Crystal style reboot with like updated thing. What we'll get is a card game or a visual novel.
I love the resignation in your voice. When you
It's
said
got to be like
card
Magic
game.
the Gathering.
So is anyone here a fan of Akame ga Kill?
I actually
Yes.
have a bit of in the sense that half of the time it doesn't make sense, half the time it's completely stupid, but I quite enjoy it.
I really enjoyed the
Sounds
beginning
like
of it.
wrestling.
Do you
Was
know
it-
the manga's ending soon?
Huh?
Wait.
Yeah,
Is this the anime about trying to overthrow the government?
Yes. For me, they kind of. Have you ever seen it?
I have seen about half of
For
it.
me, they kind of. I remember some things I thought really stupid. Okay, him and the F's death is kind of completely moronic. And
I haven't watched
How can
all of it.
something
I've
be
only watched like
kind
half
of
of season
completely
one.
moronic?
that happens halfway through the
Yep.
season at episode 12
Yeah.
when he does it. Like, also has the shortest tournament. No, God, there's a tournament. He wins one battle and is declared winner of the tournament. That is how you officially
Best
do it.
tournament arc
That's how
ever.
you do the most efficient tournament arc
Yeah.
ever.
Dragon Ball Z, take notes.
And yeah, he basically he has an ecchi scene with the villain and it's really uncomfortable. In that she basically falls in love with him instantly
I hate that
because
trope.
he smiles.
That's quite rare with
That's
her.
genuinely
though.
what it is. He's because she has a very specific list of criteria. Of,
Who
of
doesn't
people-
smile?
Well, he fits a lot of the criteria, and then he smiles.
He doesn't. He has the specific protagonist smile that she's looking for, and then she basically makes him her slave, and then he escapes.
Yeah, but she's pretty fit though.
And he
so
also
I'm-
Yes, because slavery's all right when your slave owner is really hot.
So the manga is set to end.
If what she wants with you is
I wanna know about the
a lot
manga.
of fun stuff.
I don't know, but he doesn't want it because basically she's evil and stuff, and
still
killed
racist.
all his friends.
It's set to end on December 22nd, with the 14th volume being compiled in August. The manga's 15th volume will be the last, and it's slated for this winter.
But wait, how do they continue the story after? Oh wait, I'm the only one who's seen it all the way after. You know what
I
happens.
saw the end of season 1 as well.
You'll have to watch it.
After you know what happens, but
Yeah,
there's
we
no
know,
season
yeah.
2.
The anime may get a second season if the manga.
I hope so,
finishes.
but I had no idea how they're going to make me relate to
What
any
they
of the
might do
characters.
is there's been mention of like a Akame ga Kill 0, so a prequel might come out.
Okay.
I know, right? How can you do a prequel? There's nothing there to do.
No. I don't want a prequel because
You want to
literally
carry on?
I don't care. I want to know what happens to them afterwards because the aftermath of season 1 is more interesting than learning how I got
I'm wondering,
season 1.
like, would do you have a rebellion against a rebellion?
The prequel has been announced. The prequel will be focusing on Akame's former life as a professional assassin in the Imperial employ.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
It
okay.
is called Akame ga Kill 0, because original.
Yeah, and we will probably be reviewing it then. So tune in then.
I'm just still looking. There's
I
nothing-
think that's been the news, and we've got 50 minutes left.
No. Oh, so sorry. I was about to say there was just a giant 7-meter tall straw Godzilla.
Did anyone
in
watch the
Fukuoka.
new Monster Hunter stories?
Nice.
It's like
What, the anime?
Yeah, the anime.
No.
It's like
I watched a little bit of it.
Are they
how
good?
was it?
Uh,
It seems very child friendly.
It's incredibly child friendly. You do have all the main characters are essentially kids, and they're going around, and like he's getting chased by a monster right at the start. It's like a massive dinosaur. It's one of those. I don't know how to describe, but you know, kind of definitely a kids friendly.
Have you seen the whole thing? I really hope.
I got beaten after episode 1. I'm just
I was,
like,
I'm
I
re-
can't
do you know what I
finish
say?
this
I'm
unless
really
I've been
hoping
drinking.
halfway through, secretly, they do a scene where they're showing the gutting and the harvesting of the monster, and it's really violent, and it's just like it scares everybody, and it's like
so
that's
it's
the
going to be like
realities.
the anime we watched for the Halloween special, where it's like the first episode was all happy and
School
fluffy
life,
and
school
lovely,
life,
and then
school
it's like,
life.
oh wait, no, they're actually in a zombie apocalypse, and she's just mentally.
No, I
Deranged.
Her
say
psyche is shattered.
I would compare the Monster Hunters to maybe Toriko. Do you remember that anime?
Oh,
Yeah.
Toriko's fantastic.
Yeah, it's probably like that.
Oh,
So
how
very
did
similar.
how did school life go down after I left? I know I left right before the Feels episode.
I had to leave because I was
Dying. I know for a fact that someone said to me afterwards that like I said I left and it was right before like episode 3, which is a seriously emotionally crushing episode, and they were like, "Is that your evil plan? Leave before everyone
Basically,
starts crying." Like,
yeah, that's effectively we ended it on episode 8 because it was about 10 p.m. Most people want to go to sleep,
It's
and they were
episode
saying
12 episodes.
we don't want to go through further sadness. Was a lot of people saying
That is the most. See, that is more horror than that experience. That whole show is harrowing. Harrowing is the great word.
I
for
will
the show.
admit, I can't stand the Moe stuff, but I did see.
I
a
have
bit of
bad news.
episode 2,
Like I said, I have bad
and,
news in that regard.
It
I love the dichotomy.
the way it was starting to go. I am morbidly curious now to see how it finishes.
The great thing about the show is its dichotomy between the overbearingly cute of the main protagonist's own visual world and the absolute grim reality in which they find themselves, and how her friends have to literally shelter her from this. And then later on, as the whole thing breaks down, it's just both unbelievably saddening and unbelievably horrifying in the sense it's human horror. It's not like what all the other shows were, which is like violence and
That reminds
scares
me
and all
of High School of the Dead, in that there's a kid to protect from the horrors of the apocalypse.
that. Amongst the breasts.
Yeah, amongst the breasts, yes.
Amongst the boobies,
And,
there is a kid. who
and
needs
the most kind
saving.
of horrifying thing there isn't necessarily the zombies, it's the creepy ass teacher who forms a religious cult. He's running South Korea right now. But yeah,
Are you trying to tell me that an antagonist from an animated television show jumped into reality and started running one of the 7th biggest economy in the world?
I'd watch it.
I'd watch it.
Go to say, guys, I might have to leave soon. I'm
Yeah.
going to be coaching in about
Oh
10
yeah,
minutes.
I've got the baseball
Okay,
thing
so
as well.
Yeah.
wow, then I'm gonna have to do the shortest tropes segment ever.
Feel how I feel now,
Wait.
Daniel.
How
Your
long-
segment lasted an hour.
how quick? It's
Not
true.
normally.
How quickly can I run to the baseball thing?
Are you making life? I'm the guy who has to get the
I don't have to
equipment
get
out of
that.
this.
I can stay. I can stay.
Okay, in that case,
Bye.
I may just cut tropes for today and just make my announcement about tropes, and then we can end it.
Ooh, we'll just have an extra long segment on tropes next
I have
week.
a couple of announcements to make from the exec team about upcoming events.
Cool.
Okay.
So I normally focus quite heavily on shonen because it's mostly what I watch.
Yep.
This kind of term, I want to focus more on shoujo and moe, actually. So next week it will be the start of my moe series,
Sam is dead
which
on the inside.
which is probably going to last about 2 or 3 weeks. Analyzing
It's like
moe
eating-
culture.
It's like eating sugary cake. You have one bite and it's okay. You have 2 bites, you start to feel it. You eat the cake and you feel like, oh my god, what did I just
No,
eat?
you eat-
Why
And then
have
you
I
go off and
consumed
get
this?"
brownies.
No, you eat the
And then die of diabetes.
I thought I was gonna go like you eat the first slice, you're fine. You eat the second slice, you feel a bit sick. You eat the third slice, you get diabetes.
Yeah, so next week is moe week. Tune in then.
I'll break down ecchi or something.
Yeah.
I'll do the ecchi.
And then I'm
breakdown.
probably going to do some romance stuff.
You should open up the show next week.
Yes.
What, with moe?
Yes.
And then I'll have 15 minutes and desperately try and do.
We can gorge
Japan
ourselves
today.
on cake and then purge it with the grim aspects
The
of
grim
reality.
horrors of reality. Yeah.
All right, so tune in then. to
Wait,
see-
no, we got announcements from the exec to bring in.
So
Yep.
we are planning a trip to Hyper Japan. We will be doing discounted tickets to Hyper Japan. Transport has not been confirmed yet, but it is in the works to be confirmed what we are going to do. See the exec members for that. We will be running probably the Saturday is the most likely. We are also doing a trip to see Your Name, that film. Can't
Yeah,
remember.
This will be at the
Yeah,
cinema.
Makoto
won't it?
Shinikai.
We'll be going down to
the guy,
a
it's
cinema
the
and
latest film by the guy who did
Yes.
5 centimeters per second.
We do not have the budget to discount any tickets.
so
or
buy
this.
your own bloody
So you-
tickets.
Calm down. So you have to buy your own tickets and you have to organize your own transport. We are more than welcome to do a group transport where we
Carpool,
all go.
isn't it?
No, it's like we all go down
Oh,
together
okay.
on like the train or something. We are more than happy to do that. Again, speak to the exec about it. Today, Friday we're doing a social. If you are interested in going to that, it's a fireworks social. Next week we'll be continuing on into the normal ones with our normal themed viewings. That is pretty much all the announcements we have for the moment.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very well
So has
done.
anyone
Nice
else
to have
got
like
any
an
announcements
exec
we need?
voice on the
That was the most
podcast.
executive this podcast has ever sounded.
Yeah.
Does anyone
Yeah.
else have any announcements? to
And
make
we
before leave?
apologize for that.
No, like I said, I'll just do my ecchi breakdown on how ecchi will never ever get a fair review in my eyes.
Because boobs influence men.
Because boobs are too influential.
Everyone loves boobs, though. Men love boobs, gay guys love boobs, gay women love boobs, women love boobs. Everyone loves boobs.
Since when do gay men love boobs?
Have you asked gay men this?
No.
They are interested.
Sam, do you have
Seriously?
insider knowledge?
Yeah, honestly. I'm struggling to imagine this coming up in conversation with a gay guy.
Conversation for next week.
Oh yes.
Fair enough, and we will
can
see
bring
you
we
then.
can bring it into
Google it.
mine.
Yeah.
Google
Just
it.
Google it.
No.
I'm not joking.
Never again.
There was an episode of Modern Family where this question of boobs came up, and the gay couple were like, "Oh yeah, boobs are great. They're lovely." Like they were full on in support of it.
So what we're gonna say is that's goodbye from Sam.
God damn it!
Goodbye from Sam, Dan, Cam,
Yep.
and Cam.
And goodbye from me, because why not? I'm tired. It's been a long 2
This
hours.
has been the Anime Manga Podcast, and we are signing off.
Yeah,
Peace.
Radio.
And we still didn't turn on the lights.
We
Or-
never
or
turn on
press